This the scene just hours ago. The president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, leaving the White House with no deal signed. Today's meeting with President Trump and Vice President Vance unraveled quickly, growing very heated and playing out in front of the world. Thanks for joining us for 4 o'clock at 9 News. I'm Tom Green.
I'm Kim Christensen. A White House meeting that was supposed to kick off negotiations on a deal with Ukraine on a minerals deal ended in confrontation. The president and vice president chastising President Zelensky, saying he wasn't grateful enough to the U.S.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of
war.
millions of people. You're
You
gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
After the meeting, Trump said in a statement on social media that Zelensky is not ready for peace. A planned joint press conference was canceled. The future of the deal to provide the U.S. with some of Ukraine's mineral rights remains unsigned.
Colorado's congressional delegation has been reacting on social media, including Congresswoman Brittany Petterson saying on X today, "I'm horrified by the way President Zelensky was treated by Trump and Vance. Once again, Ukraine is a democratic ally that was invaded. It's stunning that the U.S. is now siding with dictators and not standing up for freedom." In 4 days, President Trump is going to address a joint session of Congress. NBC will carry that live right here on 9 News. That begins at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. And then there is the federal government continuing to lay off workers across multiple job sectors, and those layoffs are hitting Colorado's veteran affairs system.
9 News reporter Evan Krugel joins us outside the VA clinic in Denver with how those cuts could impact care for vets here in Colorado.
Yeah, Kim, several workers tell us they were let go as part of those cuts this week, including 2 combat veterans who worked here at the York Street VA clinic. They say they were notified over email that their employment with the VA was, quote, no longer in the public's best interest, a claim they strongly disagree with. For many veterans, service doesn't stop at the end of active duty.
I would say there is a desire. From every veteran that I know that I work with, there's a desire to help other vets. It's
why Brett Taylor moved to Colorado in August to take a job in social work at the VA.
My job, my goals, my duty, since I've been out of the military, has been to help people like me.
Monday, Brett and at least 4 of his colleagues received this email telling them they were being let go, effective immediately.
I think what bothers me the most is whether you're a Republican or whether you're a Democrat, we're still human beings. It's our duty, and for that to be stripped away from us, it's unfortunate.
It's a horrible, horrible limbo stage.
Air Force veteran Bilal Torrens was let go too.
That day, right after a full days of work, it kind of felt like a slap in the face, honestly.
He wonders what the impact will be to social workers who are already buried in casework. His job involved helping homeless Colorado veterans find permanent housing.
Being as a social worker associate, we help them. They're going to be bombarded with client overloaded cases.
Not only do you have the veteran in crisis, now you got the employees in crisis. That's bad for business. He claims he's a businessman. Maybe he needs to be fired. That's how I see it.
Both veterans say it's not just about vets being let go, but about federal workers across the country who are now in a state of uncertainty.
It's not just about me. It's about everybody that wakes up every morning and decides, sorry, and decides to come up here and work. So, it's not just about veterans. I just happen to be one.
Now, we know these layoffs were part of 1,400 total layoffs by the VA nationwide this week. Workers say at least 5 social workers were let go from the York Street Clinic here in Denver, but we still don't know exactly how many VA cuts have happened across Colorado. Reporting live in Denver, Evan Krugel, 9 News.
A lot of ripple effects. They continue to be felt in many different places. And when you add the actual human emotion of individuals, one person at a time, it is something that we continue to have to register.
Yeah, and the social workers,
Tom,
so critical.
Some of those workers had moved here to take those jobs. A lot of uncertainty right now as they wait to find out if they'll eventually get them back.
Evan Krugel reporting, thank you. We continue to follow some breaking news this afternoon out of Monument. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office says a man shot into a car in the King Soopers parking lot there, killing a woman. Deputies say they arrived to find the woman dead in her car. The Sheriff's Office says they believe the man knew the woman, and they're working to find out more about how they knew one another. They're also working to identify the suspect. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. One Friday to the next. This time last week, we were still digging out from multiple inches of snow overnight. This morning, we woke up to sunshine and really nice temperatures. Today, we got above 50 for the fifth day in a row. How about that? 60, 61. But our weather impact team is tracking the next storm. There's another one.
You know, Corey, I've been watching the temperatures go up and down, the snow fly, the sunshine, everything changes. So I'm calling an end of February.
Well,
Today.
you nailed it.
This is it.
Not only is it the end of February today, Tom, but it's also the end of winter when it comes to meteorological records. All the weather that happens tomorrow will be recorded in the spring record books. Great day here in downtown Denver. Still lots of blue skies out there. Temperatures in the 60s still, as most of the area was in the at least middle 60s today. Here's a look at the forecast for tomorrow in Denver. Lots more sunshine going through the day, potentially even warmer than it was today by a few degrees. Here's the forecast for the rest of the state and the region. Lots of 60s out here on the east, and 40s and 50s even in Summit County tomorrow afternoon. And here's the things we're tracking. This warm weather carrying all the way into Monday afternoon, and then the next storm comes in on Tuesday. We have a weather impact alert already for that storm coming up on Tuesday because it's one of those classic March storms with lots of moisture, heavy snow potential, and the modeling is showing that storm coming very close to the Denver metro area with the bullseye kind of circulating right around Denver in the last several model runs. And so I'll talk about that bullseye and what to expect on Tuesday coming up in the full forecast.
Just in the last 2 hours, Denver Public Schools has confirmed that a student has died from meningitis. DPS says that student attended Lincoln Elementary School. The Department of Health and Environment says the child was just 3 years old. The district now says they're working with DDPHE to rule out the possibility of disease transmission at the school. At this time, they say they don't believe that there is a risk to students or staff.
The measles outbreak in Texas and other parts of the country is growing.
Yeah, today, Kentucky and Washington have added to the list of states with infections. NBC's George Solis now with more on that from Dallas.
The CDC putting out new numbers now for the outbreak. 164 cases across 9 states. Still unclear if any of these cases are linked. The majority of those in West Texas. Officials there putting out new numbers, about 150 cases there alone, 20 hospitalizations, most of those appearing to be unvaccinated children or children that had not had any type of record of a vaccine. Officials, of course, taking every precaution. We were at a clinic yesterday where we saw some children getting the shot. Officials holding a news conference today saying their messaging appears to be working. They actually had exemptions of students who were in schools coming in to get those vaccines, so those numbers are increasing. Officials warning of things like measles parties, which apparently have been spreading on social media. They are concerned that more misinformation may be spreading. Officials closely monitoring this outbreak, hoping conditions don't get any worse. George Solis, NBC News, Dallas, Texas.
Today in Santa Fe, officials took medicine and cell phones from the home of actor Gene Hackman. And just an hour ago, Santa Fe police did update the investigation into the deaths of Hackman and his wife. Yesterday, both were discovered dead in that home under what officials called suspicious circumstances. Today, officials revealed that the 95-year-old Hackman's pacemaker had stopped working on February 17th. That is 10 days before they were discovered yesterday. Officials also say 2 phones were recovered, as well as a calendar, and 2 kinds of medicine were also taken from the home. The cause of death remains unknown. An initial autopsy, though, has shown no reports of any trauma to the bodies, and both tested negative for carbon monoxide. So a full autopsy is being conducted, and the results from that may take a couple of weeks.